Hi guys, so today's video is all about the Play Expo pickups that I got. So yeah, Play Expo, I didn't really do much playing, spent most of the time just socialising. I think I spent more time in the bar area, just chatting and drinking, than actually playing in the arcades. I think on the first day I played on Rolling Thunder and Asteroids. It was that busy, I just sort of walked in, had a quick walk around the Traders Hall and then just came out. And then spent more time in the event on the Sunday because there was less people. And I managed to play on a few games, the arcade machines, but not actually sitting down at those tables where the computers are. I just spent most of the time in the bar or playing on the arcade machines or wandering around the trade hall. Anyway, I didn't buy as much as I usually do, but I did get a lot of games gifted to me. So some people brought down their doubles, so their Commodore Spectrum Amstrad tapes, and we had a little bit of a swap meet in the Norbrecht bar. So we'll get onto those in a sec. So the first game I bought from the Traders Hall is a game I've already got on the Hit Squad, and this is on the ZX Spectrum. And I got this because it's the original release, so it's the big box version, so you can see more of the artwork, and that is Green Beret by Imagine Software. Next up, you probably saw me pick this up in the video from last week, and I bought this purely because of the box art, and that is Wally Kong. So yeah, that's obviously a rip-off of Donkey Kong, and a very, very poor rip-off at that. The next one I bought purely because this was my number one in the Amstrad versus Commodore 64 video from a few weeks back. And this is the original release of Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. So yeah, that's complete with the instructions and the tape. It's just a bit damaged on the corners there, so I'll probably somehow repair that. Stick some tape or cardboard on the inside just to hold them shut. Next up is a game I've never played on the Commodore 64. I've played it on the Atari ST and the Amstrad, but I've never played it on the Commodore, and that is Ocean's Darkman, based on the 1990 film by Sam Raimi. And the next Commodore 64 game I bought, never played this game before. I've got it on the Spectrum, but it doesn't work. And the first time I loaded this didn't work, so I've tried it again, and temperamental as Commodore 64 games are, it worked. And that was Dynasty Wars. So yeah, like I said, never played this before, and I was pleasantly surprised. It actually plays pretty well, even though it does kind of look better from the screenshots on the Spectrum version there. The horses look bigger, and the other sprites, and on the Commodore 64 they were quite small. Although it did look pretty good, and like I said, it played really well. So I think I'll have to put some more hours into that game and give it a good go. And the final Commodore 64 game that I bought from the Traders Hall is a game I've only ever seen played on the Amstrad. I think Zypho played it a few months ago. And it intrigued me because the first level looked just like Xenon 2. And that is Dominator. So yeah, that's another game I need to sit down and play for a bit and get good at it. The final game I bought is a game I could have done with a few months ago when I did my Jaws video. So I don't know if you've seen the Jaws video, but I had a fake Jaws cartridge because I was using emulation to show the game, and I had a fake Jaws cartridge with a label that I printed out and stuck it over, I think it was Golf. And yeah, so now I've got Jaws, and this was £18. A little bit steep for what it is, but this was never released in the UK. So I just thought, rather than paying postage from America and import fees, I just picked it up. I've no idea if it works. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I can always play it on emulation. I won't lose any sleep over it. It's Jaws. And now the big purchase. So I waited until the end of the day for this one, because I was like, shall I get it, shall I not get it, because there was no games with it. It's something I've always wanted, and it's the original version, because there was two models of this handheld, and that is the original Atari Lynx. So it's just missing the inserts inside the box. But it comes with a car charger. Don't think I'm going to be playing it on the go. But it's one of those handhelds that take 6 batteries and you get like 3 hours of continuous play. So yeah. And I've always wanted this version because this is the one I remember playing at school, because my mate brought his in with, I think it was Blue Lightning. I think it was Blue Lightning and Electro Cop. I just don't like the look of the Mark II Lynx. It just looks too squat and chunky, whereas that it's a lot more sleeker. Yeah, it just looks better. So yeah, so that came with the car charger and the instructions. Now onto the games and other goodies I was gifted over the weekend. So we'll start off with Yellow Belly's gift. Now I think he's moving to Hungary next year, or in the next couple of years. So he's downsizing his collection, and he gifted me this Acorn Electron. Never used one of these before, so it'll be fun learning how to use this. It came with the original user guide, and he also threw in the SD card interface with an SD card loaded with original Electron games. I think we might have had some of these in the IT room at school. It might have been, no, they were Acorn Archimedes. So we had BBC Micros, and then I think we moved on to Acorn Archimedes, but never Electrons. So yeah, and I was shocked to find out there was no joystick ports. I was like, where do the joysticks go? But you've got to buy an interface that plugs in on the back, then you have a joystick port. So I think I'm going to be using a keyboard anyway for that. So yeah, that was off Yellow Belly. And moving on to the games I got gifted. So these two were from Sai, otherwise known as Ginger Hippie Gaming. I'll put his the link to his channel either on the screen or in the description. And he gifted me Nosferatu the Vampire on the Amstrad. Now, before I played this, I thought it was a text adventure, and I really can't stand text adventures. Oh, the instructions are on the back of the label. Yeah, so I really don't like text adventures, and I was surprised to find out that it's not. It's an isometric game. Now, I'm not really a fan of isometric games, but I prefer isometric games over text adventures. So I think I need to learn how to play that, because I was just wandering around aimlessly, picking up objects and not getting very far. So yeah, that was Nosferatu the Vampire. And the other game I got from Sai was a game that has two versions. There's a UK version, or a European version, and a US version, and that is Aliens the computer game. And this is the US version, which in my opinion is the better version. And onto the stack of games I got from Lewis Waddington. So I took a bag of games with me and gave out some games and swapped some games. Lewis would only take one game, and I was like, no, I'll take more, have a look. And he was like, no, I just want this one. And I just got about 10, maybe 12 games from him. So we're just going to go through these quickly. So the first one is on the Commodore 64, and I have no idea how to say this. I think it's Tau-Ceti. Apparently it is the greatest game ever written. So if it's the greatest game ever written, then why is there no screenshots on the back? Next up is a homebrew game for the ZX Spectrum. Now I thought this was like a sequel to the Saboteur games. Don't think it's got anything to do with it. I've not played it yet, but it's a text adventure, and that is Saboteur Deep Cover, and it's got a very interesting tape. So it's black on one side, white on the other. And there's part 1 and part 2. And yeah, I tried to download that, but I couldn't, even though I've got it. Tried to download it to emulate it to show you. So I'm just going to put some screenshots on the screen. Looks interesting, but like I said, it's a text adventure. And I'm really not into text adventures, even though I've got a text adventure at the bottom of this pile, which I'll show you. And next up is another copy of Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters, only this time it's the Hit Squad re-release. Now I've already got this, but it's got a photocopied cover, so it was nice to get the original. So I'll probably be selling the other copy at some point. The next game I got from Lewis, I didn't realise at the time, but I've already got it, and that is Paperboy on the Encore re-release label. And it's been that long since I played this game, I'd forgotten the Amstrad version has no music or sound effects whatsoever. I think there's music on the title screen, or is there? No, there's not. Yeah, I think it's completely silent. Yeah, which is a shame because the actual game itself is really, really good. Next up is an Amsoft game. I do like to collect the Amsoft games, just like the Hit Squad games on a shelf. They all look nice and uniform, and with the Amsoft they're all different colours. And this game, I don't think I've ever played this. I think I've seen Zypho play it recently, or 6 months ago, and that is Star Commando. Next up is, so I think, yeah, these are all Amstrad games by the way. The next one is a game I've always played on the Commodore 64, but I've never played it on the Amstrad, and that is Boogie Boy. Next up is a Amstrad Action cassette, and two reasons why I got this. First, it's got a great game on one side, and on the other side it's got some sort of speech program, so you can make your Amstrad use coarse language, and that is nebulous and speech. Now, a couple of years ago Lewis tried to give me this and I was like, no, don't, I'll never play it, don't want it, keep it. He's like, no, take it. I'm like, no. So he insisted this time that I take it. It's another homebrew game, and I don't think I'll ever play it, even though you're about to see me playing it, and that is CPC Soccer. Now, I've got the odd football game. I've got Italia 1990 and Adidas Championship Football, but I've only bought them because they were cheap and cheerful. Never going to play them. But yeah, that is CPC Soccer. I think it was 2020 when that came out. But it's got a lovely green cassette. Another game I got from Lewis. I kind of enjoy playing these, even though they're a little bit boring, but I'd rather play these kind of games than football games, and that is a golf game, and that is the original leaderboard on the Kicks re-release label. So getting down to the last few. No idea what this game was about until I played it, and it's one of those games I hate. It's like one of those platform, time your jumps kind of game, collect flashing objects. A bit like Jet Set Willy, Manic Miner, that kind of thing. I'd never heard of this game until the Play Expo weekend, and that is Short Fuse by Firebird. And for some reason this has got the Benny Hill theme tune on the title screen, or Yakety Sax as it's known. And the last two games I got from Lewis was quite a decent shoot 'em up. This is the kind of game where you have to choose your ship at the start, choose your weapons and what have you, and your power-ups. And it's quite an interesting concept because it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, but it's set underwater, and that is X out or cross out. I think it's pronounced cross out, but X out sounds better than cross out. So yeah, it's not a bad game. Again, it's one of those games that I'm going to have to sit down and give it a good go. And the final game I got from Lewis, I only got this because I did have it on the Commodore 64 and I could never play it on the Commodore 64, and I still can't play it on the Amstrad. And it's a text adventure, and that is Gremlins the Adventure. It's one of those games where you have to type in exactly the right phrase because there are certain words that the computer won't understand. So on the first screen it says exit down, so I just typed down and it didn't understand down, so I put go down and I think it understood. And there was another instance where I was in the kitchen and it wouldn't understand turn on blender because there was a gremlin stood on the blender in the film. She turned the blender on, wouldn't recognise the word food or blender or something like that, so I just ended up trying to kiss the gremlin, and the game said how uncouth. So that was Gremlins on the Amstrad. So those are all the games I got. Now moving on to the other goodies. So on the Friday before the Play Expo I was gifted this drawing by Manshovel of the Incredible Hulk, which he's sketched on the back of some index card. So I'm going to stick that on my shelf. And I got a keyring from Novabug, which has got the infamous Mr. Bin or R&R bin. It's a bit of an in-joke with the Amstrad community. And then on the last, no it wasn't the last day, it was on the Monday. So the Monday we came home, we went into the bar area just to say our goodbyes, and there was a small group of people sat with Chris Husbeck, who is the composer of the Turrican games and R-Type. And he was, because he was flying to America, he didn't want to take his stuff with him, his unsold CDs and what have you, so he gifted us all some CDs, and he gracefully signed them. So I've got a soundtrack for Tiny Thor, and got an album that he did called Dressed to Chill, and finally Lucid Dreaming. Really nice of him to take time to sit and chat with us before we left the Norbreck for another year. So anyone I've mentioned who's got a YouTube channel, I'll put the link in the description down below, and all I've got to do now is just count down the days until the next Play Expo. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye!